What is the cheapest possible fiat on-ramp so that you can convert your fiat money into Bitcoin or other crypto and back again to fiat without losing thousands in fees? To figure this out, we first need to understand the different fiat on and off-ramp services available. So I've mapped out this table to summarize the different services, starting off with the traditional banks like Halifax, HSBC and NatWest, and the more crypto-friendly banks like Monzo or Ally, which are more friendly towards making transfers from the fiat world into the crypto world. Then in the crypto space, we have e-money service providers like Revolut or Wirex. You've got your centralized exchanges like Binance and Bybit, crypto wallets, whether hot or cold, like MetaMask and MoonPay, and then you have some mixed service providers like Ledger and Crypto.com that are doing a mixture of those different things. Now, the challenge here is this is a many-to-many relationship where you can move money across the divide between the fiat world and the crypto world, moving transactions in between all these different players. And the problem is, each time you do that, you can be incurring different fees at each of these different steps. And those fees can be quite complicated and hidden, including things such as foreign exchange fees, withdrawal fees, transaction fees, card payment fees, gas on-chain fees, and bid offer spreads on the price for converting between these different things. And if you're not careful, these can quickly add up, and you could end up spending up to 5% just in those fees. And if you're doing a larger amount, let's say £100,000, by the time you've converted that into equivalent $120,000 worth of crypto stablecoin, you've already lost $6,000, which is not great. So why are we incurring such large, up to 5% fees doing this conversion? Well, to understand that, we have to understand in more depth what are the steps happening behind the scenes. To convert your fiat into crypto, there are actually 5 separate steps happening behind the scenes. The first of which is simply to move your balances from your regular bank account onto whichever app you're going to use for those conversions. And if we take an example, if you had 1,000 British pounds sitting in a traditional high street bank account, you have to be careful here of what type of transfer you do. Because if you're not careful, you can be hit with extra fees for doing what's called a BACS or CHAPS transfer, where the bank does this on your behalf. Once transferred, the second step is now to convert from your local currency, so British pounds, into US dollars. So, for example, that £1,000 should be converted at current exchange rates to approximately $1,200. However, again, this is where you can get caught out because some banks or apps you might use would charge a one-off FX foreign exchange conversion fee just for that transaction. And also, there's the hidden element of the bid offer spread on the price differential between those pounds and dollars. And different apps have a different width of the bid offer spread. So even though they may say there's no FX fees, they're actually making money by having a wider distance between that price. The third step is now you have your dollars, you have to now convert that into the crypto stablecoin equivalent, so USDC or USDT stablecoins. But again, here you would think those $1,200 should equal 1-to-1 $1,200 worth of USDT. However, some apps will charge you a flat one-off fee or sometimes a percentage fee for the conversion. And again, there can also be a bid offer spread where $1 may only buy you, let's say, 0.95 of USDT. So another one to watch. Now you have your stablecoins. The fourth step is to move those stablecoins from whichever app you've used onto either a centralized crypto exchange or decentralized exchange. However, here there can be more fees because the app may charge you a withdrawal fee. The centralized or decentralized exchange may charge a deposit fee. And also, since this is now a crypto stablecoin on-chain transaction happening over the crypto network, you can get charged on-chain gas fees depending which network you use for that transfer. Then last of all, the fifth step is now to go ahead and buy your crypto coin or token. So for example, if you wanted to use that $1,200 worth of USDT to buy Bitcoin, this would buy you at current prices approximately 0.01 BTC. However, here there are more hidden fees. So usually both centralized and decentralized exchanges will charge you a maker or taker fee, depending whether you do a market or limit order. And these are usually on a percentage basis, depending how much activity you do on that exchange. On top of that, again, there's another bid offer spread here between the buy and sell price for that Bitcoin. And if you don't look closely, some exchanges can have wider bid offers where, again, they're squeezing out these extra fees. So you can quickly see, going down through those 5 steps, how those fees can quickly add up. So now we understand the landscape. What is the lowest cost possible method to avoid all of these hidden fees? Well, as we saw before, this is a very complex picture, and there are many, many different ways you could potentially do this. So I'm not going to compare every single permutation, but what I will do is show you what I think is by far the best and the lowest cost method. And that is to take your money from your traditional bank account over here, move it into one of the e-money service providers, and I personally prefer Revolut, do the conversions there, and then move those funds onto your preferred exchange. In this case, I'm going to use MEXC. Now, I should point out, this is not a sponsored video by Revolut. The only reason I'm recommending that is because I have tried many, many different ways of doing this, and I've found Revolut is both the simplest and cleanest and by far the lowest cost. And I also use it both for my personal account and also my business bank account. So I'm going to show you a real live demo with my own funds and every single step in the process to prove this is the lowest cost method. Starting with the first step, which is to move a £1,000 balance from my Halifax bank account using a online faster payment or SEPA transaction rather than a BACS or CHAPS transaction, which should be free. So I'm logged into my personal Halifax bank account here, and to do a online faster SEPA payment, I select payments and transfers. Next, I will select the account I'm sending it to, which is my Revolut account, and I want my personal account. And now I enter in the amount, £1,000. Let's give it a label, demo transaction, click continue, and now it's giving me a summary to confirm I want to send that £1,000. I check the details and click make payment. And there I get the confirmation. It sent the transaction, and now I'll jump onto Revolut and I'll show you that has arrived at zero cost with zero fees. So jumping onto the Revolut app, if I open the app and let it load, there straight away you can see that the £1,000 balance, and if I go down to the transactions, there you can see that £1,000 I sent from the Halifax account has arrived, and there's the reference demo transaction. So step one is complete. We've now transferred our £1,000 using the online faster payment, which was free. So step one cost zero. Next, for step two, we're now going to convert those pounds into dollars. We're going to use the Revolut app, which is free of any FX fees and also has the best possible FX rate. And if you'd like to understand more what is the interbank FX rate and why Revolut is the only company which offers this globally, in my opinion, I've made a detailed deep dive video which you can check out over here, which explains all of that in much more detail. But assuming this is the best rate, now let's jump onto the Revolut app and I'll show you how to do this. So if we open Revolut, and now we go into the exchange feature. So click more, select exchange. Now I'm going to choose US dollars and I'm going to convert that £1,000 into the equivalent dollar amount. So we enter in £1,000. And if you'd like to see the exchange rate at the moment, you can click the blue rate button and it will show you how that rate is doing right now. So that means $1,000 will equal, at this time, sorry, £1,000 will equal $1,230. I'm happy with that. Click review order, gives you the full breakdown. And here you can see it does say fees, no fees. And we also know it's going to be using the best possible currency FX or interbank rate, so we get the most possible dollars for our pounds. So assuming we're happy with that, let's click sell pounds for dollars. There we go, I've sold. So now you'll see my pound balance, fiat balance has gone down by 1,000. If I click accounts, and now I go down and select my US dollar account, there you are. You can see I now have that $1,230.06. I can also click on that transaction, and there you can see I've exchanged £1,000 for that amount with no fees, and it also shows me the rate that was used. So step two is complete, and we've now converted into dollars with zero fees and at the best possible rate, so the cost is also zero. Now we can move on to step three and convert those dollars into stablecoins, again on the Revolut app. Now here there'll be no fees, but we do have to check what is the spread on that rate for the US dollars to USDT crypto stablecoin. So if we jump back onto the app, and now we're already in the dollar account, so we want to go back to exchange, and this time I'm going to select USDT, and now I want to exchange that full amount, so $1,230.06. But you'll notice here that it does not equal exactly the same amount of USDT, and that's because there is a very small bid offer spread here. So if I click to review the order, here you can see it gives you the full breakdown. Now, it does say there is no fee or fixed fee or percentage fee to make that conversion from the fiat dollars to the crypto stablecoin USDT. However, this blue line shows you the conversion rate, which is $1 equals 0.99364 USDT. So nearly $1, but just slightly less. And if you click on the information icon, it does explain that they do have a very small variable cost built into price. But I'm happy with that because this is still very competitive. So I'm going to go ahead, click to confirm the order and make that conversion. So click to confirm. I've now sold those dollars and I've purchased the USDT. And now it gives us the summary that that transaction is complete. And there you can have all the details that you can check. And also, if I now navigate within the app from the fiat part over in the bottom icons to where it says crypto, click on that, it will show me my balances of crypto coins and tokens, and there is my new Tether balance. And if I click on that, it shows you a few more details. But yeah, you can clearly see now I have that Tether in my Revolut wallet ready for the next step. So now we have completed the conversion of our 1,230 US dollars into $1,222 worth of the USDT stablecoin. We did lose a little bit because even though there was no fees, that small conversion bid offer spread on the stablecoin meant we incurred costs of $7.61. Still not too bad. So now we move on to the next step, which is to move our stablecoins onto our preferred exchange. And in this case, I'm going to be using MEXC. But I do need to be aware of which on-chain network to use. Generally, Tron is currently the cheapest method for Revolut, although they are adding more chains in the future. We also need to check any withdrawal fees. But before we do that, let's jump into MEXC and set up the address we're going to send the funds to. So here I'm logged into my MEXC account. If I click on deposit and I want to select Tether, and under the network I want to choose Tron. And then here it generates for me the address I'm going to send the stablecoin funds to. So now I can jump onto the Revolut app and set up that address. So we open the Revolut app and now navigate to Tether. In the icon here, select send, because we're going to send the funds over. So as you can see, the phone and Revolut have some built-in security measures that prevents you from screen recording while making any transfers to other people. So I will demonstrate to you what comes next from screenshots I've taken while completing the remaining steps. So the next part is we now have to take the address we set up in our MEXC account and input that as a new address. Now, I've already set this up, so I will select the MEXC USDT Tron address here. Now it asks you to put in the amounts that you want to transfer. So I'm going to select the full $1,222. So we put that in here. Next, I will click to review the transfer. Now, it has asked me for some additional information. So next, I will enter in the exchange that I'm sending it to, which is MEXC, where I can select from this menu. Now that is inputted, click continue, and it gives me this last screen with a full breakdown of the transaction to send that $1,222 worth of USDT to MEXC. And you can see here that there are some fees which total roughly $10. And if I click on the information icon, it does tell you here that they do charge fees which consist of a network fee to process the transaction on the blockchain and a Revolut service fee. Those two are combined, which is where that $10 or so comes from. And this is the withdrawal fee. Now, this will come down over time as Revolut will add more and more networks. But at the moment, it does vary as well a bit depending how much are the gas fees, and the network's obviously busy at the moment, but it is what it is. So now I click to confirm and complete to send the transaction. And here you can see I've now sent $1,211 because it's deducted the $10. And finally, here it gives you a summary. It says it's request the process to withdraw the funds, gives you a full breakdown, all the fees. And now we just have to wait for the funds to arrive into the MEXC account. So I've now received a notification from Revolut saying the withdrawal was successful. So let's jump back onto MEXC. And here you can see on my account overview page, on the right hand side under recent transactions, it says deposit successful. And if I click in to see the details, there we are, USDT on the Tron network, deposit successful of $1,211 worth of USDT. And if I go into my spot wallet, here we are, you can see there's the tether sitting there, exactly the same amount without any additional fees from Revolut, ready to buy the crypto that I want on MEXC. So to recap, we've now completed the fourth step, moving our stablecoins from Revolut onto MEXC. We incurred those withdrawal and gas fees for a total of $10.43. And now finally, we can move on to step 5 and actually use those stablecoins on MEXC to go ahead and purchase, in this case, Bitcoin. If I move myself out the way, we just need to be aware of that 0.05 taker fee. So now I'll jump onto MEXC. I've come to the spot trading area. So up here, spot trading. I've loaded the Bitcoin to USDT chart. And in this case, I'm just going to do a simple market buy of Bitcoin. And you can see there, that's my $1,211 worth of USDT. So we'll max that out 100%, click on market buy, and we will buy the Bitcoin, and then I'll immediately sell it as I don't really want to run an open position, particularly the way the chart's looking right now. So we go ahead, buy the Bitcoin. There we are, ordered successfully. If I go into my wallet, to the spot, and there you go. You can see the Bitcoin is sitting there. And next we can look at what fees we incurred to do that market buy. So now the trade is completed. I've come into my spot order trading history. And here on this row, you can see that market buy I did for $1,211. And expanding here, that shows I purchased the equivalent 0.011 of Bitcoin. I paid a taker fee because I was doing a market order, and the taker fees are 0.05% on MEXC, which works out to $0.61 worth, or 61 cents. So to come back to our table, we've now purchased that 0.01 of Bitcoin, and if I move myself out the way, there's our 61 cents, which if we add up on all the other fees before, that comes to a total of $18.64. Now, for comparison, I don't think that's too expensive, because relative to a £1,000 or $1,230 transaction, it's about 1.54%, which is not too bad, although you have to remember this will depend on the size and nature of the transaction. For example, I ran the numbers in a spreadsheet using exactly the same fee structure and bid offer spreads, but with a £10,000 trade. And here you can see that some of the fees, like the withdrawal fee from Revolut, that stays fixed regardless of the amount, whereas other fees do increase because they're based on that bid offer spread, such as the dollar to stablecoin conversion. But even with those bigger amounts, it's relative to a larger transaction. So when you run the numbers for a $12,300 trade, the fees are $94.77, which works out at 0.78%, which is already half the percentage fees we paid in the earlier example. So it does depend a little bit, but I would say on average, from my experience, depending on the size of the transaction, the time of day in terms of how the gas fees vary, and also sometimes you get better bid offer spreads on that dollar to stablecoin conversion because it does fluctuate through the day. So I'd say on average, I'm getting somewhere between 0.5 to 1% in totality across all the steps to both Fiat On-Ramp from British pounds all the way to buying my Bitcoin or Ethereum, and the same the other way around when Fiat off-ramping. And I think that's actually very, very good and a very low cost. Now, the reason I've gone into so much granular detail showing every single step in this process is to give you guys a broader framework to understand this payment space, so that now you can go in there and optimize each and every stage, test out the different providers, and find the best strategy to get the lowest possible cost. And one area that you could easily further optimize this is that last step where you buy your actual crypto tokens. So that's because most of the particularly centralized exchanges, and decentralized to some extent, these maker and taker fees vary over time, and they do have special offers, and also the fee amounts largely depend on your trading volume. So each centralized exchange will have a dedicated fee page, and as we know in MEXC's case, there's just very simple 0.05 flat rate maker and taker. But if we look at some of the competitors, so crypto.com, if you're doing over $10 million worth of spot volume, you automatically get a 0% maker fee. And then if you're willing to purchase and lock up some of their CRO tokens for their platform, you can also get the 0% at much lower volume levels. And even their taker fee is pretty low too. Next one, Gate, similar picture here, although the volumes to hit that 0% maker fee are much higher, over 100 million. And then BingX works slightly differently. Here, it depends more on which coin you're going to be trading. So here, for example, on Bitcoin, even at a very low volume, in fact, there's no volume requirement, it's 0% maker and 0% taker. So if we'd done this on Bing, there would have been no fee for that step. And they also have a VIP program. So for other coins with higher fees, if you do the high volume and you become a supreme VIP, you can get 0% maker. And then the other big ones, Binance, it's not bad, although here, even when you're doing like huge volume, they don't actually offer 0%, although it is quite low. And Bybit is similar. They're pretty competitive, but even their top VIP level is slightly above 0 for spot trading, Although for perpetual futures, they do have a 0% maker offer. So it does depend. And these fees do vary. But broadly, at the moment, definitely Gate and Crypto.com and possibly Bing would give you that 0%. Now, I know what you're thinking. Would it be possible to optimize all the steps and actually do this completely for free? And the answer is, it depends. So there is one way you can do that, but it's not currently possible in the UK, but it was before. And that is, you still move your funds onto Revolut and do the foreign currency conversion there. And then you would send it directly from Revolut in just fiat US dollars directly onto one of the exchanges. So you skip that step where you convert the dollars into stablecoins in Revolut and then do the withdrawal on chain. But the problem is, so here, and then you can see when you run all the numbers, you get zero cost on every single item all the way to the bottom. And if you use Gate, Crypto or Bing with the zero maker taker fees, zero for that, so everything adds up to zero and it's free, right? But the problem is, this used to be possible on Binance, but now because of the UK regulations, they are no longer accepting SEPA payments due to the ongoing regulatory problems with crypto in the UK. So there's the rub. If you can't do that direct transfer in the dollars from Revolut directly onto the exchange and skip that step, then you can't do it for free, as far as I'm aware. And the other thing is, you may find when you get the dollars onto some of the exchanges, it may not necessarily be free, or there may be, that bid offer spread on the stablecoin conversion. You'd have to check. But if that's not possible, then that's why you come back to my original recommendation that currently, given you can't do this way and skip that step, I don't think there is any better option than Revolut. If you would like to try Revolut, then click on the link I've provided in the description below the video down there, and that promotional link will give you up to a £200 bonus when you sign up for a new personal Revolut account. If you follow the link, all the details are in there. It's quite self-explanatory, so definitely check that out. The next question is, if you're going to use Revolut, then which is the best plan that gets you all the features you need for FX and crypto, but at the lowest cost? And the answer is not as simple as you might think, because Revolut has 5 different plans, all the way from the free standard plan up to the maximum ultra plan at £45 per month. And if you go onto the Revolut website, they do have a comparison tool, but the list of features here is absolutely mind-boggling, and it's not that straightforward to work out where all the limits apply. So the clue here is you need the one that allows you to do unlimited FX and very low cost crypto. So that rules out the standard and plus plans and narrows it down to the premium, metal and ultra plan. But the problem is, this summary doesn't give you the full breakdown of all the crypto fees, and there's actually a lot of small print which took me a long time to get my head around. So if you'd like to know the answer to that question, then check out my next video, which will be popping up here very soon, where I'm going to do a deep dive into all the different Revolut plans, what are all the different limits, both on FX and crypto, and also run through all these other interesting benefits they have, which actually some of them are really, really good, depending on whether you travel a lot, what's the size of your crypto transactions, and lovely and interesting things like that. So yeah, definitely check that out. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you've got any better strategies for fiat on and off ramping, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.